Hello everyone, I'm Major Jip, and today I'm going to be taking a look at something I picked up at the Goodwill the other day. This is a Panasonic SA-PM17 mini hi-fi radio, I guess you can call it. It's basically a small stereo. Small stereo with a couple small corks in it, which, I'll get into. This cost me all of $9.99 at the local Goodwill. And, what I got for my $10 basically is the machine itself, the two speakers, which is very important with this model. I'll get into that. And a very dirty looking remote. Actually that focused very well. Let's pop the cover open, and it's got all kinds of stuff inside. Disgusting. On the plus side, it did come with batteries that were still had a charge in them. And I'm looking for the expiration date. I'm kind of curious. I don't see it printed on here. 20... Ooh. Oh, March of 2012 is when they expired. I don't know why I figured you'd want to see that. So, even the batteries are fairly old in this. As you might be able to tell, this thing is kind of dirty. That's a bit of an understatement. All inside is completely clotted with dust. The remote is disgusting. And the speakers themselves have never been cleaned. As you can tell when you open it. And it's just clots of dust everywhere, which is going to have to be taken care of. Other than that, the machine for the most part works. Has a couple of little quirks, which I'm going to try and settle and make a little bit better, because I actually really like the sound of this thing. Now, this is one of the strangest sort of radios I've seen in some time. This uses a bi-amp system, which is basically it has two separate amplifiers for the highs and the lows. What that means is you need a set of speakers that has a bi-wiring system. What that means is these speakers on the back of them have two wires coming out. One wire is for the tweeter, one wire is for, I guess, what you could call a subwoofer or low range. And, yeah, it's very interesting. I actually have a slightly bigger set of these speakers that from a similar Panasonic system. I wonder if they're rated higher than these, because that would be nice. I can't say I have an issue with these speakers, though. They sound pretty good. This thing features not only that, it features a 5-disc changer and a cassette deck, which is interesting, because I didn't expect it to have a cassette deck. And really, I just like the look of this. I mean, it's got like the mirrored finish and everything. It's got basically plastic over a mirrored metal surface behind, and it's all like silver and black colors. The 5-disc changer is bigger than the remaining part of the radio, which is the oddest looking thing ever, and I love it. You might be able to tell the audio cassette tape that is green right now because I have a cassette tape in it. Quite why these are all orange, even though I have a disc in it, I'm not too certain, but I could be doing something wrong. Can't exactly say I read through the whole manual. Sorry for that, I'm yawning. It is like 2 o'clock in the morning, so I should hopefully be able to be forgiven. But, I'll get to the back of this and I'll show you. It basically has one AV input, has headphone output, which I need to spray some deoxit in because it is very scratchy, as you'd imagine. This thing looks like it's been sitting around in a garage or something for a while. Or a very dusty living room. Yeah, either way. Cassette deck is actually very nice. It is a full Logic cassette deck. And it also has track searching, which really amazed me. This must have been one of the higher end models that Panasonic made. And I believe they do still make radios similar to this, but now they have like SD card playback and stuff. I don't know. I like the look of this. And I know I've already said it, but it reminds me of, I believe it's the Panasonic Q? No, I think I'm getting it. There's a Panasonic GameCube that basically they made in Japan only, and it was a DVD player too. it looks like the same kind of style with all the silver and chromed plastics and stuff. I really love it. Yeah, so tape player works. CD load and unload works just fine, which is nice. I was worried about having an issue with the unloading because these 5 disc changers, real pain to change belts in, and my clock's going off. Lovely. The problem is the lens itself. I believe that the guide rail that it rides on, that is usually greased, I believe that the grease sort of dried up on it. So as it's trying to seek, not only does it have a problem getting from one end of the track to the beginning of the next, it also kind of squeals. That's a good word for it. Let me just get right into it and demonstrate it. 6 minutes in. Oh, I've been talking a while. Oh well. Sorry about that. I'll hit play on the disgusting remote. There you go. That, you just heard it. Let's drop the volume down. Is it playing? It figures when I'm recording, it works just fine. Usually you skip around tracks and it'll like jump to the previous track. Ooh. Really? You're gonna work. There we go. It just did it. It went to get to the 10th track, but it jumped back a few seconds onto the 9th. That's the issue, and you could probably hear the disk drive going, yeah, squealing. That is... For those curious, this is the artist's Condor on the album Piece of Soul, I believe it is. Pretty nice album, actually. I bought it, I forget what website it was, but it was one of the things where the music makers and DJs and stuff sell their music, and bought it, downloaded it in FLAC, and burned it to disk. Sounds lovely. So, you hear the CD player. Let me get onto the cassette deck and show you that, because I'm kind of surprised it works, to be fair. Okay, let me get to that. You might notice also when it's doing the demo, the screen is very clear. This thing must not have had too many hours on it, because that looks, for all intents and purposes, like a vacuum fluorescent display, and over time, over use, those will start dimming down, and certain characters will start getting darker than others. I don't see any of that on here, so that's in very good shape. That was surprising. Alright, let me get to the cassette portion of this. Okay, as I believe I said, this has a full Logic tape deck, which is nice. That is a nice feature. Also, it doesn't have it has an electronic eject. So you hit this button and it electronically ejects it, and you can see the little light up here turned orange. Quite why the disc lights are always orange, even when there's discs in it, I'm not quite certain. I have my sacrificial copy of Now too. There we go. That took forever. Let's see if you could see further into it. There's actually... No, you cannot. I don't want to get too far into it. Basically, the where the pinch roller is, where it attaches into the metal post going up, the metal post is all rusted, which is another thing I'm going to try and settle. I don't know what I can actually do. This camera is just freaking out. What side did I have this on? I don't know. Either way. And you put it in. And then let me get the display back in, and you have tape, and then you could hit play on the remote in the tape function. And I switched it back to CD. No, I do not. How do you pause? Apparently you can't pause the tape from the remote. You can't pause the tape at all. That's good to know. So tape works. Let me show you the audio search function. So you have it playing, and you say you want it to go to the next track. And it has TPS, which I'm sure stands for something along the lines of and say you want to go 3 tracks ahead, which it may or may not be able to do, because I don't actually know how far into this tape I was. Obviously, tape playback, it has no Dolby noise reduction or anything. It doesn't sound too bad, and I'm sure once I clean the heads on it, it's going to sound a lot better. It's down to 1, so any second now it's going to get to that point of the tape, and it's going to start playing the next tape, the next track, whatever that is. A garbage song, which is actually fairly interesting. I didn't know they were on Now too. Things you learn. Alright, let me flip this whole thing over, and I'll show you what it looks like on the back. Okay, so this is the back of the machine. As you can imagine, there's not too much going on. There's a cooling fan, which actually isn't too far into where the fins and everything from the amplifier are. So I guess that just kind of pulls a little bit of air through, kind of like the back fan of a PC, provided it doesn't have some interesting CPU cooler. And here you have the dual cables going into each speaker, and they nicely labeled it out as black, red, blue, and white. The positive terminal is actually white. That bothers me. I mean, because in AC and DC, the positive's always either red or black. At the time, it's white. That's like opposite. But, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I'm figuring that's the positive. I could be dead wrong about that, actually. Because the positive's down on the bottom. I could be... No, it's got to be the positive, because it's gold. Anyway. You have the AM loop antenna connection, the FM antenna connection, the connections there, and a single set of aux ports. And I don't know if you can tell by looking in the fan. Hopefully this thing won't start freaking out. It's going to start freaking out, isn't it? Oh, there we go. Let me try and angle it in such a way I'm not going to be able to do that. And I'm going to have that CD end up going and falling behind. One more thing. Let me just pan over some and take a look at the label on the speakers. That was a little too much. It's got a simulated wood cabinet. It does not want to focus that far in. I was better off the way it was. There we go. Caution, designed, everything. And this is 50 watt per channel on the high, so the tweeter, and 50 watts per music on the low frequency. If you look at the specifications, this is apparently 55 watts per channel, and that is basically 25 watts per channel on the 2 amplifiers, which is somewhat interesting. Something else nice, the speakers are ported. I am having issues with this tripod. So, I mean, I'm going to be making a video later on of me taking this and cleaning it all up. because I think this video has gone long enough. I just wanted to show what I picked up. And, so, you know, any questions, any recommendations of maybe how to get into the 5-disc changer to grease that, because I'm not too fond of getting into there and trying to do that quite yet until I do a bit more research. But all in all, you know, any questions, comments, leave them, message me. I think YouTube's still doing that. Thanks for watching. Major Jip, signing out.